process and start working on the information. The recent occurrences in our country, particularly in the parliamentary impasse and the general disruptive ways of the NDC over the period, confirm a secret document we have obtained that provides strategic guidelines for the NDC's plots to win the election in 2024. I'm talking about a document titled Winning the 2024 Election and Beyond, a comprehensive NDC strategy. I'm sure you have seen this document. What I've been doing here is read our statements, and every so often I refer to the document and read from it so that you can be sure that we're not making anything up with reference to this document. Firstly, let me start by commending the majority caucus of Parliament led by Majority Leader Honorable Alexander Martin, the entire majority leadership for standing on the side of law and, more importantly, displaying maturity, decency, self-respect, and above all, respect for the Ghanaian people, particularly during the sitting of Parliament on Tuesday, 22nd October 2024. They showed restraint and wisdom in spite of the rather infantile provocation and utterly delinquent conduct put up by the NDC minority. The members of Parliament on our side, that is the majority side, have yet again demonstrated the NPP's belief in and fidelity to the rule of law. The NPP's desire for protecting the peace and stability of our dear country remains unmatched. As our majority leader, Apeno Martin, put it, we want to conduct ourselves in a manner that will not put our children and young people of this country to shame. The NDC, on the other hand, prefers to dispense with civility and go back to factory settings, namely to be crude, crass, chaotic, and confused, rude and violent. That is what the NDC means when they say they want a so-called reset. Moving on to the NDC's document to win the election 2024, which I've just shown you, our verification showed that it is a legitimate operational document of the National Democratic Congress. In other words, it's not a fake document. It's a true document, a document the NDC has been working with since January 7th or 8th, 2021. The document consists of 11 chapters, each directing the NDC on various disruptive, unfair, and outright crude tactics to aid its capturing of power in 2024. I strongly urge Ghanaians to read this secret document, which will introduce you to the dark corners of the NDC's corporate mind. It is a must-read for voters, especially the youth and the middle class, because the document and its prescriptions make nonsense of patriotism, responsibility, democracy, and political ethics. The secret document goes beyond the ordinary strategy or action plan you would expect a political party to operate with. This secret document is a deliberate ploy by the NDC to hoodwink Ghanaians. In other words, to dupe Ghanaians of their votes. From what we have read in the document, the NDC had a plan right from January 8, 2021 to frustrate the government and make it unpopular through foul means to win power December 7, 2024. One would think that any political opposition party would do same. Indeed, that is not problematic if those plans are legitimate and in the nation's best interest. However, this document we have uncovered from the NDC promotes crude, undemocratic and unpatriotic means of achieving political power. We will focus, as we go on, we'll focus on the document's central theme. It has a central objective, which is for the NDC to obtain power by every means necessary, fair or foul, but primarily through foul means. The document admitted that the NDC lost the 2020 presidential elections fairly and squarely. That notwithstanding, His Excellency John Dramani Mahama has failed to concede defeat, as has been the norm with all candidates before him. And in fact, he did so in 2016 after some cajoling. He considered defeat. But the 2020 election remains to be seen after the NDC document that we've uncovered has completely admitted that they lost the election without any doubt. The former president must probably come out and do the needful. At this point, let me just read a little bit from the document so you can see. Pardon me, the mics are so much so I can display the documents freely back. Pardon me, so I can just go back to it. Okay, yeah. So I want to read from the document analyzing the 2020 elections, the election laws. One of the key, this is the NDC document. The subtitle is Failure of Result Coalition System. One of the reasons for the NDC's loss in the 2020 election was that the party failed to implement a robust system for collating election results across the country. Effective collation and monitoring and results collation are critical in the electoral process, especially in a closely contested election like that of the 2020. Now, this is incontrovertible evidence from the NDC's own archives to say to you that they believe they lost the elections. And so there isn't anything for them to say that they were cheated, and so therefore there's no precedent of the NDC being cheated. And by that measure, I'm saying that the 2024 election will also be just as the 2020 election, free and fair. What is left to be seen is whether the NDC, having lost the election, or if they lose the election, which they will, would come and humbly and as expected in a democratic society to accept defeat and let the country move on. Ladies and gentlemen of the media, Chapter 2 of the secret document provides strategies on how the NDC minority should leverage parliamentary power to disrupt government business. And as you are aware, the 2020 election gave us almost, people say, a hung parliament. And on that basis, the NDC saw an opening, which opening they decided intentionally to exploit to affect the interests of governments, rather than use that to extract better policies, to promote a platform where they can canvass their ideas and Ghanaians will decide on the superior ideas and ensure which party would be able to help. And maybe when it comes to the 2024 election, Ghanaians will probably be able to see clearly what they have contributed to the policy environment and therefore earned their votes. The NDC decided, contrary to this common sense, to rather use their leverage in parliament adversely for their own political interest. Pages 7 and 8, under the subheading Maximizing Parliamentary Control of the Legislature, provides the context for this NDC dubious plot. And I read from here, but it's actually a direct quote from the document. The 2020 election resulted in an unprecedented situation in Ghanaian politics, with an evenly split parliament, with the NDC and NPP holding equal seats, The equilibrium creates a powerful opportunity for the NDC to, one, influence, to delay or outright block government's legislative agenda. I want you to focus on those things. One, influence, delay, or outright block government's legislative agenda. And I want to ask you the question, how would delay or delaying government's legislative agenda contribute to the forward march of this economy? How would outright blocking government's ability to legislate and to enact policies contribute to the forward march of our economy? Absolutely, that will rather regress progress, and it will not contribute to our forward march as it should be. With everything, I'm continuing, with everything requiring parliamentary approval, nothing can happen in the country without the consent of the legislature. The power dynamics gives the NDC the leverage to frustrate government's ability to govern effectively. Please note that the NDC feels that their advantage or the leverage they have in Parliament is rather to be used to constrain the government from governing effectively. And I continue, by uniting our members and ensuring party discipline, we can control key votes and prevent the executive from enacting its policies. Now, I need to think about this. It takes two to tango in Parliament. And we have a situation of near, members in Parliament. And the NDC, the other side, with equally significant number of people to participate in the legislative agenda of the country, says that they are determined to prevent government from enacting legislation. And whilst I'm saying this, I want you to begin to think about what has transpired in our country from January 7th, 8th, 2021 till now. All the debate that has happened, all the policies that government has put forward, you would see a classic picture evolving if you pay attention to see that every turn the NDC